Welcome back to Smok'n Jay's Garage. The question today is, should you wax your boat below the water line? Now, if you're new to boating, you're probably thinking, why wouldn't I wax my boat below the water line? It's going to make it a lot easier to clean. It's going to make the water slide right off of it. If you're an experienced boater, then you probably already know the textbook answer is yes, you absolutely should not be waxing below the water line. I'll explain both reasons why you wouldn't. I'll tell you what I do, and I'll tell you why. All right, let's get right in the video now. So first of all, let's talk about why we would not want to wax below the water line. Now, when I first heard this, I was a little bit confused because I thought wax is going to be a nice slippery surface, right? It's going to slide right through the water. And somebody told me, no, don't wax below the water line because water on water is actually a slipperier surface than water on wax. So that's the theory behind not waxing below the water line. So I went and talked to a gentleman that I know who's a sailboat racer, because I thought if anybody ought to know this, right, it ought to be somebody who 5 miles an hour, if you're going to go a quarter mile an hour faster through the water in a sailboat race, that might actually matter. So he said, yes, absolutely. Water on water is a slipperier surface. So depending on the size of the boat they had, his boat is big enough it stays in the water. So he paints it with this like paint that is supposed to fall off over the course of years, several years, so that nothing actually sticks to the boat as far as the gunk that you get from leaving your boat in the water. But sailboats that come out of the water, they'll actually wet sand below the water line so that the water really sticks to it, and then you get that water on water surface, which is supposedly, I guess honestly, is a slipperier surface. Now, the reason that you might want to wax below the water line, and the reason that I do wax below the water line, is because it makes a lot easier cleanup. So we got that nice wax on there, and when I get out of the water, I go with my towel and I just wipe right off of that, and it cleans up very nice. So yes, I do lose maybe a quarter of a mile an hour or so on my top speed, but that's not a big deal to me. I think that the cleanup is easier and it's worth the slight loss of top speed that you may end up having. So the technical answer is absolutely not. You should not be waxing below your water line, but my answer is yes. If you're pulling your boat out of the water, go ahead and wax it, because it's going to make that cleanup so much easier. Those of you who are, whether you're new to boating or whether you're an experienced, let me know what you do and why, because I'm curious as to what other people do, and I'm probably going to still keep on waxing because it just makes it so much easier when you come out of the water and you just wipe it down and everything looks good again. Especially when you are boating someplace that's relatively dirty and you really get that scum line right there. When you do it when it's still wet, it just wipes right off when you got a good coat of wax on there. So that is what I do, but I'd love to hear what you do. If this video was helpful to you, give it a thumbs up. If it was not, give it a thumbs up, because that's helpful to me. If you're watching this channel for the first time and you haven't already and you want to, boom, please subscribe.